This is like my mirror for the moment. Oh, we live.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Conversations with D. I apologize for my lateness. And I have my lovely special guest, Miss Aretha Scruggs. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
So, first off, I want to start off by saying, awesome job on your latest single, I'm Tired. That was awesome. And I'm going to show the
Yay!
video so everybody can see the beautiful imagery. And then, if you can tell us about the mission, the whole message behind it, which I know the message, but they don't know the message. So we're gonna do that right now. So
Okay.
everybody, I have it live for y'all. 1 and 2 and 3.
I can't hear you at all. Oh,
Okay,
there we go.
okay. So tell us about the message behind that, because it was conveyed so beautifully.
I mean, watching it like brings back all the memories of writing it. It's crazy because literally this time last year, all of us were in a different place. Like, I don't know about you, but I was afraid to go outside my own home. You know, I lived in Burbank at the time, a very not diverse place. So I literally was afraid to go outside of my home. You know, everywhere is not only the George Floyd videos, even if you don't want to open it, it's, you know, all over social media. And then back to back, we're seeing like college students being drug out their car by police. We see, I mean, images over and over again. Another black man shot. Oh, you know, so I literally was not, I was fearful of going outside. And, you know, this is stacked on top of how many black men and women have been killed in the United States. So I literally went to, in the midst, it was for about 2 weeks that I was not able, I felt literally I was in fear. I was afraid to, just afraid of, for my family and myself. And so in the midst of that, I was writing, it came like out of nowhere, that chorus, I'm tired. And I had just taken, you know, the top of the quarantine. I had just been in these songwriting classes, like 8-week songwriting classes, and was in these regular groups weekly writing songs. And they gave us an image of a black woman kneeling in front of a police, a line of policemen with, you know, all their gear, strapped and ready. And I had already started writing. This chorus came out of nowhere. Hi, Lena. This chorus came. I'm tired. I'm tired. The chorus came, but that writing assignment helped me to fully finish the song. And so you know, I just allowed myself to feel, which in this time I didn't want to feel, right? We're at home, we're tired, we're, you know, some of us, you know, half, more than 3/4 of my income was gone because of music being closed, entertainment being closed. So we're all dealing with this. And on top of that, we see this horrendous video with George Floyd. And so that was the inspiration behind the actually writing of it. And then someone in the writing class helped me to put like the basics of music to it. And then I gave it to another producer. And what you see here is what he took my little bit of chords. You know, I had learned to play chords, and he took my song and I mean, blew it to a whole nother level. I was just talking to another friend, and she was like, "Oh, I have a videographer who could probably do a video for you." And I told him my idea of wanting just Black families to contrast negative, this negative view that Black people have especially during that time, in the media. And so I wanted to show the beauty of our culture in families, and so that's where the idea from the video came from. And again, I gave him the idea, and this guy took it to a whole nother level. And so that was the inspiration behind I'm Tired. And so it has been shared all over the place. And somebody even did a whole justice message in their church and showed the video before the message started. So it's been in different places. And I'm just really excited that somebody was inspired by it. You know, even non-African Americans can feel that video, you know?
I definitely felt it. Like, I know, like, during that time, I was afraid, and I'm just like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. Like, I mean, I didn't think that we would be dealing with this still in 2021. I mean, you imagine all the stories that grandparents and great grands and everybody and mothers and fathers tell you about the history, all of that. And then all of a sudden we're going through this still.
Yes.
I mean, I definitely think that racism never went away, but I didn't think that it was gonna be at this level, so at the forefront. And then, you know, the rioting and people not understanding why people are doing it. And then, you know, it just was a lot. And then COVID, we're dealing with that as well. And then having to explain to the little kids, like, what's going on. I mean, I can only imagine.
Yeah. It was, and even looking back at it right now, like, it reminds me kind of what you're talking about, like even how they presented like the civil rights movement and a lot of the protests, like in our history books, there's always like these black and white photos, and like it was so long ago. But that's my mom's generation. That's not even generations ago. My parents lived through Jim Crow. My dad lived through Jim Crow. My mom lived through growing up in California, you know, black and white water fountains. So, you know, even people think, oh, well, that didn't happen in the West. Yes, it did. It didn't happen in the West. It didn't happen in the North. No, there was discrimination. There still is discrimination in America. But as I'm watching the video, you know, watching my own video, I'm like, it just takes me back to, you know, the black and white photos we see of our great grandparents or our grandparents. Like, it was so long ago, almost like it wasn't reality. But you look at the video, those are, you know, people kept asking me, are those actors in your video? No, I just literally, I put out on Facebook and asked my friends, would you just come and be in the video with your family? And, you know, you see the raw emotions. You know, you see a young woman who I went to high school with, and she's crying. And so, you know, just talking to the director and how he just kind of put them back into the space of, again, those really raw feelings of not being safe, of not being seen as a human, of not being equal enough to demand or have the same rights as every American in the United States. We were born here, you know, so it still brings chills to me as I watch my own video.
Wow. And that's how you know it's so moving and it's real, and there's a great message behind it. So your evolution started a long, long time ago. I mean, your journey rather, and you've worked with so many people, but tell us, when I say tell us, because I know, but tell everyone how you all got started singing with your sisters.
So I'm one of 4 girls. I have a twin sister. We're all girls, no boys. And my 2 parents were always, you know, like the ministers of music. Hi, Nicole. They're like the ministers of music. They were always over, like sometimes the youth department when we were in it. there, and my mom was like really, and still is very involved in the Riverside community. So she, everywhere we went, like from the age of 3 until we all graduated high school, we were singing every weekend. We had 2 or 3 places to go, whether that was at different churches, different musicals. You know, the 90s musicals back in the day, that was the, there are musicals everywhere. So we were at musicals, we were singing at community events. My mom worked at UC Riverside, so there were always like banquets and high teas or whatever they were having. So we were singing at those. You know, at the age of 12, we sang for Rosa Parks' 80th birthday party. Like we opened up for all the major gospel artists that came into Riverside. So we were like semi-professionals before like my first real career got started. But yeah, we were singing pretty much the age of 3. You saw 4 little girls sharing a mic, standing around a mic, singing like harmonies. Our parents taught us harmony at a really early age. And so that was our start. That was my start. And all I knew, singing in the Scruggs Sisters, hi Lita, singing in the Scruggs Sisters group, and then, you know, being our little sort of semi-professionals in the Riverside Inland Empire community.
And that's dope. I mean, I remember watching your podcast, and Elena and you were talking about how y'all had just graduated from UCLA and y'all were on tour.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So the funny part is a lot of people think like I went to college for music, and I didn't. Like our dad, you know, went to college and he was like, don't do it. Like it makes you hate music. And so and our parents were always, not only they enforced music, but they also more so enforced, of course, faith and then education. Like it was not a question. We were all going to college, and they wanted us to actually graduate, and they wanted us to go and really do something in addition to music. And so none of my sisters majored in music. We all, my twin sister and I were pre-med. And so, I mean, I think all of us left high school. We spent, you know, what is that? 15 years singing. And so we all went to college and we're like, I don't want to do this ever again. Singing's done. Thank you. And so my twin sister and I, we really, like, our first year at UCLA, we tried to hide. Like, no, you know, we just didn't tell anybody that we sang, didn't tell anybody about our past of singing. And we were just, you know, science geeks. We were on, you know, fully pre-med, fully in life sciences, calculus, you know, all those classes. And so it was only, I say it's our gospel choir teacher, you know, it was an easy A in college, especially at UCLA, it was necessary. So we took the gospel choir class and he heard us sing, and that was it. He was like, no, you're coming. And so everything that he is James Roberson, and he owns JDI Records. And so anytime he had, you know, he was working on a record, he would say, hey, you guys come and sing on this. And so he would have us. So that kind of started our moving into the professional realm. He would have us do the background for, like, I'm trying to remember all the names, but whatever, all the artists on his label. We did a lot of, we did the live recording of Beverly Crawford. We did the live, or some of the stuff with, I can't remember the names. Anyway, but we did a lot of stuff with his studio. So that sort of started us walking. And so he really, like, stirred that up in us. And then we, like, second or third year, we, like, found a church home, and we were like the worship leaders there. So it just became this whole thing. And so graduating from UCLA, we again, you know, we graduated, and it was like, well, now what do we do? And like our very last year, we were just singing at our church, Maranatha Community Church. Hey, everybody. Singing at our church. And they had this, the church choir was singing in this event called The Colors of Christmas. And we were just singing, you know, they have different artists travel around the nation, and they bring it like a local choir to back up all the artists. And so they added Natalie Cole the week of the show, because Irene Carr couldn't do it, I think, because she fell sick. So she pulled one of the background singers that used to sing for her, Marcelina Hawthorne, pulled me and my twin sister from the choir to learn her 2 songs. We had 2 nights, and it was no sound, you know, it was no audition. We just had the gig, and we met her at sound check. Like it was, it was the scariest thing ever. But we did 2 shows that weekend, and she was like, "I hope to work with you in the future. You guys look just like my twin sisters." She was like, "You guys look just like my twin sisters," and we were like, "You have twin sisters?" But yeah, so and it's funny because we grew up in a household, church kids know this. We grew up in a household where we weren't allowed to listen to anything but gospel music. But like right when we turned like 13, 14, going into high school, we were able to remember those penny CDs? You get like a bunch of CDs. Yes. So, but Natalie Cole was like the first CD I bought, non-gospel. And and so that was, so I told her that, like, you were the first non-gospel. They got a little bit lax and like, okay, you can listen to jazz. So Natalie Cole was the first CD. And so I told her, you were the first CD that was played in our household, non-gospel. And so full circle, by that March, they called me and my sister. This was December that the show happened for Christmas. By March, they called and said, "Hey, do you want to go on the road with Natalie Cole?" We were like, ah!
Yes.
So we literally had 4 weeks to learn 50 songs, 50 songs. And we had 1 week of practice, like 5 days of practice. And that was it. We went on the road, and we were on the road with her for almost 3 years. We started in Japan. We've been to, now I've been to 18 countries. I've had the joy of being in 18 countries, and I've started with Natalie Cole, went to Christina Aguilera. Me and my twin sisters were again together for, my oldest sister, Tony, and I were together with Christina Aguilera. And then my twin sister and I were back together again with Anita Baker. And I go in and out with Shaka now with my older sister, Tony. And we've done like the BET Awards. I led to the BET Awards, all the tributes to like Michael Jackson. We were there singing for the Michael Jackson tribute, the Whitney Houston tribute. We were there for the boy girls. I mean, the girl bands and the boy bands of the 90s. We were singing background on that. We've just been able to sing like for all of the top. We were the first people to do the celebration of, we did the celebration of gospel for 10 years. So that's how we sang with Whitney Houston, like her last performed, her last recorded live performance on television. We got to sing that with her. And so it's just opened up so many amazing doors. These little church girls, we've just been able to have and live like the greatest adventure that I never, I was pre-med. I was going to be a doctor. I was like, enough with all of this. But now I feel like it's funny because it's full circle. I feel like I'm a doctor, but a vocal doctor. Now I'm a vocal doctor.
That is amazing. Like, wow. I mean, to go from pre-med and then on tour with the greats and all that. That is a dope story.
Yeah.
So not only do you, I guess, perform as well, you write. And so what does that process look like in your writing?
I need to get better at being a consistent songwriter, but songwriting, like for me, songs just come. It's like they land on me. It's like they, I've heard it say that songs choose you. And so I don't get the chance, especially now where now I'm a mom, but so it's hard to like set aside time to just be like, okay, I'm going to write a song. But then there's times when it's just like that moment where I'm so overcome with emotion that I have to write. Like I have to write this out. Like a melody just comes, and as I start leaning into hearing the chorus, usually like a melody, a chorus, the chorus usually comes to me first. But as I lean into intentionally receiving or holding on to it, it's like the words start to spill out for the verse or the more of the chorus or the bridge or whatever. And so So I feel like, I feel like it's all like a God ordained thing. Because songs, some people have written songs and they're like, I don't even know where that came
Mhm.
from. And it's just like, it's
That's
just
true.
so magical. I mean, other people, some people have a real, like
Mhm.
they sit down and they're writing, they intentionally write. And I need to get to that. They take a title and, but there are times when I literally am overcome with emotion and I have to write. And so even before I'm Tired, the song that I wrote on my last EP before that one was called Precious Moments.
Mm.
And again, even as I say the title, those songs that prick your heart, even as you sing, as I sing them, as I wrote them, those are the ones where I really wrote them. And I wrote that for me, So the song is called Precious Moments. And I had just heard the news, like three big tragic things came to me. Like a well-known person that I'd gone to college with committed suicide. Like,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it was all over he was a well-known person. And so it was all over the news. And so I was reading story after story and I was just like, oh, so him and then another, like one of my mentees just died suddenly. And then
Oh my
and then
God.
my grandmother was really ill and she was, really quickly losing her memory. And so I'm writing and I'm in just sobbing. I'm sobbing. And, uh, and the chorus goes, I gotta hold on to these moments before it all just passes by. The fear is I can't remember the rest of it, but that stayed in my mind. Like these moments, like death comes. Death is for sure for all of us, right? Ain't
Mhm.
nobody leaving this earth without death. But
Yeah.
it's the, some death comes in a twinkling of an eye. Or like my grandma, like she slowly faded away. And so I'm like, as I reminded myself, like the so very necessary need to sit with my grandmother, like
Mhm.
enjoy this moment because I don't know when she's leaving, with the moment with my mentee, like I didn't know he would go so fast. Like if I had taken the moments that we had to enjoy, instead of especially as a person in the entertainment industry, you're constantly looking forward to what's the next job,
Mhm.
and you rarely, especially in my 20s, you rarely just sit and go, I'm here with my family, or I'm here with isn't this an amazing time? Like really taking the time to smell the roses before the roses are no longer here. So that's my writing process. Those songs that really hit me are literally some things I'm sobbing through. And I have to write the song.
Yes. Yes, she does, Mom. Yep. That's Mom.
Thank you, Lee. That's mom.
Yeah. No, so yeah, and that is so like true. I mean, people don't understand like life comes, it happens. And
Yeah.
so as a singer with auditions and all of that, what of course like okay, you're auditioning for parts for songs. And so how do you cope with not getting one? The one that you I guess like you didn't get. Like I really wanted that one and you just don't get it. How do you
Let me tell you something. The crazy part is, I think most of my auditions, I don't know if I've ever gotten an audition. I don't know if I've ever won an audition.
Mhm.
All of the jobs that you see me on
Mhm, mhm.
is because a friend referred me. The stuff that
Amen. God is good.
literally the things that I've auditioned for, I'm like, oh my God, I want this. Okay. Like I can probably count on my one hand
Mhm, mhm.
the things that I've auditioned for that I actually got. And now I'm moving into like commercials, seeing on commercials and like trying to be on commercials. So now I really even more so because even a quicker like auditioning process, especially now you're self-taping. And so you're spending all this time setting up the lights and the background, and you send it in and you never hear back from anybody. So no, I'm really feeling that like continual, because there's no auditions. There's really no auditions in the music world. No. There's very few.
There were, like, I guess like when you first start off, there's some auditions, I guess, like where the cattle call, like from American Idol. Those are auditions.
Those are auditions.
Yeah.
Those are auditions.
I'm thinking of those, and I'm thinking of the times back in the day when people would they would hear about something. Hey, and the little flyer will be on the door.
Right.
You go and you see 1 million people, and you're sitting there. It's like 3 people, and you're like, man, how'd you do? I don't know. I know I got this, and then you're just like, I'm just happy that I got caught back.
No. And it's funny because I spent a year in New York auditioning for Broadway stuff. And that was my first real like auditioning feel. Like, cause my whole career, 10, 12 years before that, like everything has been, I was singing at a church. I was singing over here. Someone just said, hey, come give your information, send this, whatever. Or they just invited me and I had the job. So it was my first real introduction to, and so that's even for people who are watching, that's the difference between like the West Coast and East Coast. West Coast, there are no auditions for like background work. There's no auditions for really any of this stuff unless you want to go into like commercials or television. That's real auditions. But the background stuff, it's solely who knows you. It's solely who recommends you. You know, some artist might throw a cattle call. But even though some of those are just for looks and they already know who they want to choose.
Yeah.
Like, no, the West Coast doesn't work like that. The music industry is mostly friend referrals. The music director knows you, someone knows you, whatever, someone recommends you. On the East Coast, it works completely different. And so that's more Broadway driven, more plays, more whatever. So that is real audition. So then I got that feeling of, you know, I'm standing outside and the girl and whoa, you know, I hear her, belting through the door. And I'm like, whoo, I have to follow that.
Yeah.
So that was you know, that's a whole nother way of being. You know, people have masters in fine arts and acting, and they're dancers, singers, you know, they have 3, and here it's like it's just different. It's different. And not that there isn't any auditions on the West Coast. It just depends on what type of level you're going in. But yeah, I have had to learn what it is to deal with I was talking about it last week, of being content, you know. But being content, you know, there's a positive and negative of being content. The positive is you accept where you are right now, and you just go, okay, this is where I am. I will enjoy and find joy and grow and plant my seeds where I am. But then there is a sense of like allowing the negative sense of contentment is and maybe the word is settling, is you accept your comfortable place you're in, and you just sit in it, and you don't take any risks anymore because now you're comfortable and you're content, but then you're not growing because you're not doing what's in your heart to do. And so, you know, you have both of those. And so when you ask a question of, you know, how do I deal with the yeses and nos of this industry, is I have to ride the very fine line of contentment, enjoying my life, enjoying being a mother, enjoying, you know, watching my vocal students grow and being a professor and watching my students that way, but then also still sort of hungry for, well, what's next, and looking in expectation of what doors might be opening next. So it's like, finally sitting on that fine line of both. So I'm not comfortable in just settling, but I'm still asking, okay, what are these dreams and ideas that I have? Have I seen them all the way through? Have I done that whatever desire that's in my heart, have I done it, or did I push it off to the side because I'm afraid or I'm just tired or lazy, whatever, so it's both of those.
And that's a brilliant answer. Like, so with auditions, you definitely I look at it like this. When you were in church, y'all were auditioning without knowing that y'all were auditioning. Somebody was
yes.
Yeah. So everybody's formal audition is different. People are like, oh, well, you got to do it. No, everybody, you get in, you get in.
You
respect everybody's journey, and hopefully people respect that person's journey. But yeah, and then ultimately the balance. How do you, as an artist, a musician, as a mom, as a professor, as a vocal coach, find the perfect balance between all those?
I heard someone say there's no such thing as balance. But for me, it is a balance. For me, it is a balance because my top priority is my daughter. My top priority is my daughter and setting her up for the future. I see myself as being on the journey of, walking with who God created her to be, being a partner with him in helping to mold her, right? Mm-hmm. So she's my top priority. So everything kind of goes through the lens of her now. And there is a sense of, which is why I started my Momversations. There is a sense of who I am is definitely affecting who she becomes. If I give up on me, if I give up on the call or the purpose or the sense of me, I'm also affecting her. So my balance is have constantly weighing those things out, constantly holding who I am, the essence of me in one hand, and the essence of not only my daughter, but like who she represents is my future, her kids, their dreams, their kids' dreams, and their kid, like there's a whole person that I see. She represents all of who is important to me is family. And so, but at the same time, I'm standing on the shoulders of my mother, of my grandmother, of my dad's mother, and the first policeman in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1800. Going back to those, the people who were brought over here from West Africa. I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors and the people who came before me. And so who am I to say, I'm gonna just give up and give it all to my daughter? No, because I'm canceling myself out. So the balance is constantly trying to keep in mind, along with my exhaustion, because along with the reality is I'm a single mom. And so having to balance all that by myself, I'm also trying to live into the reality of, okay, listen, we don't have food tonight. We gonna order out. Like, I can't cook today. So it's just trying to figure, it's holding it all. It's holding the reality of all of it. And then sometimes leaning into my daughter is important in this moment. Sometimes, okay, mom's going to go away for 5 days and she's going to stay with grandma and grandpa. And I'm going to go over here and do this project because she needs to see mom still living, and then leaning into, well, the reality is we tired. So, so it's just, it's learning. I think it's learning to accept all of me. I think balance is learning to accept all of me, and that all these parts are important. And sometimes one is going to win out, but I'm never giving up on the other.
Amen.
I got long answers. I'm sorry, I'm long-winded.
No, that's good. So we're going to get into Momversations. I'm going to show y'all some of that. And this specific episode, you are interviewing Miss Angela Robinson. So if y'all watch the show, The Haves and the Have-Nots.
Good evening. Good evening. Please come in. And as you come into this space, into Momversations,
there we go.
please say hello and say where you are logging in from. I'm so excited. We are in season 3 of Momversations.
Me.
And I mean,
Different
if you've not been here to hear all of the moms who I have had the privilege of hosting and interviewing, please, I'll put the link below. You can go back and see really the amazing stories as I have learned, along with hopefully you, as you've listened along, learn the amazing things that they've accomplished and the ways they take care of their family, their loved ones, and themselves. So today, I am excited to introduce you to, and me for myself. Let me tell you how I met this woman. First of all, most of you know her. You've seen her on different television shows and on Broadway plays, but I got the privilege of being introduced to her backstage, if you will. I got the privilege of being introduced to her. One of my vocal students was just like, you should meet Angela. And I'm like, okay, who's Angela? And then we started talking. And I mean, I feel like we're fast friends. So it's been fun to just sit and chat with her and now be able to see her face to face as I get to interview her. So come on in. Please say hello when you're getting into the chat. And I'm going to get started. So for those who are tuning in for the first time, you are tuning into the weekly conversation or Momversations. Welcome. You might be asking, what in the world is Momversations? Momversations, first of all, I always forget. I am your host, Aretha Scruggs. And Momversations is a conversation, simply a conversation between moms about the very lived reality of passionately loving and raising the next generation of kids and world changers, while also constantly learning to live into our own purpose and the love of our craft. Momversations is a show where we hear real life stories of incredible moms making waves in our world, from entertainers to entrepreneurs and more. Thank you so much tonight for tuning in to our live conversation, Momversations, where we learn how to live and thrive in motherhood and purpose. Welcome. For those who don't know, we do have weekly live conversations, but we also have a podcast now. So you can also look up Momversations on the podcast. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my new friend and hopefully yours. Let me tell you a little bit about my guest today, Angela Robinson. Angela Robinson is an actress. She's known for her precise, controlled performances and award-winning performances in television and theater. You know her most likely from her own or Tyler Perry series starring role in The Have and Have-Nots, where she stars as Veronica Harrington. She continues to capture the heart of America, making a tremendous impression for now 7 seasons on the show. She's dubbed the Ice Queen of primetime television. Angela has been praised by critics and fans alike. Angela is an established theater actress, having made a name for herself on and off Broadway and on stages throughout the U.S.
Hold on, I'm a 40.
It's been so much.
Commercials and on hit. I've been through. They combine it.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. Thank you for coming on. It's been such a pleasure to just chat with you, but now I get to see you face to face. Hello.
I know. We've been messaging. It's been so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me in the audience, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and how did you get into acting?
Well, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I'm a Southern girl. And I got into acting. Well, you know, my mother was a high school English teacher who was over the drama department. And she was also always, she did all the church plays. So I was always around drama and specifically musicals. So I fell in love with theater, musical theater, at the age of 10. I had no idea that I could make a living at it, but I always knew that it was something that I wanted to do. So the idea of making a living at it came a little later.
Nice. So
Yeah.
so all through high school, college, you did theater?
So I'm gonna pause it. So, wow, that's amazing. So, like, how was that? Like, so you shift from host, and of course to from mom to, I mean, wow, how is that?
No.
Your screen's kind of blurry too.
Hello. There's my Imani. She's saying hello. But
Hey, honey.
she always has to make her debut. Go on. Okay, sorry. What was the question?
So the transition from host, so podcast host, from conversations to being a parent, and I mean, wow, it's like, wow, you turn it on, turn it off. How is that interviewing? Like how is that?
It is so, I believe God created me to be, I'm an extrovert introvert. So I love to
You're
connect
still
with
blurry.
Uh-oh. Am I blurry? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
here.
a little bit better. It's a little bit better.
Okay. So my, I again, it's sort of this thing of leaning into who I was created to be. I'm naturally an extrovert. I'm a natural extrovert and an introvert. And so when I get, especially during the quarantine, it was a way for me to connect with people in a fun way. I get to connect with other moms, and, it's just feeding off their energy, especially her. Like, as soon as we met, it was so like I was talking to a friend I've known for years. Like, it was so fun. And so interviews like that are just so fun. They're so life-giving to me. And then to hear, like, if you listen listen more to her story. She has such an amazing story of how she became a mom, and what that means to her. And so listening to other moms, when you become a mom, sometimes it feels isolating. Like you've stepped on this journey. You don't know what the heck you're doing. Like, there's no manual for this child. There's books written about so many other children, but not your child. And so it sometimes feels isolating. And so to be able to do that in the quarantine, and I'm talking with other moms, and not only hearing like their birth stories and how did their children come about, but we're also like discussing how are they balancing the same questions you're asking me. How do you balance being a mom and all these things? And in addition to, how are you surviving the quarantine? Like, what are you doing? Give me some tips. So it's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. Then I go right from that to throwing together some spaghetti for my daughter, as I'm preparing for my college course online tomorrow. I got to teach the kids tomorrow, and then I got another conversation next week. So it's all crazy. I don't know how I do it all. I mean, I have my tools, of course, and I have, I believe in the Holy Spirit, and He's given me the strength. But it's just, sometimes it is crazy. I'm going every which way, but it's fulfilling to see the final product.
Definitely. I'm showing everybody your website. So everybody, make sure you go to her website, arethascruggs.com.
That's me.
You'll see her bio and picture.
Yay!
Then if you go to vocal coaching, that's what we're gonna get into. So yes. So, and then if you click here, like, you can go to the reviews, you can go to hold on, where did I go? Call for your first appointment. Let's see, scroll down. I'm trying to find where I went to it.
That's the here. If you're looking for the more information about it.
No. To like to sign up. I went to some page. Where was it at? Oh, Lord. Oh, here it is. I found it, I think.
Yeah.
Here it is. There we go.
Okay.
And so this is the information, everybody. And so that's how I met.
Yes, that's how we met.
That's how we met. Well, no,
that's right. We met at the Shaka concert.
No, so we met at the Shaka Khan concert. I was at Shaka Khan's meet and greet.
Yes.
In Virginia.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, y'all sound amazing. And so Aretha was singing, And then I was like, what is your Instagram page? And then I started following you and I was like, oh my gosh, she does voice lessons. And so I had hit you up about voice lessons. I was like, I'm gonna be in LA or whatever. And then there we have it. And then so that's okay. So getting into COVID. So when COVID happened, everything shut down.
Yes.
So, I mean, you had already lost like 3/4 of your income, but
Yep.
you still made time to have classes for a small group, which I was in, Danielle was in, and some other people were in.
Yes.
And that is dope. That just shows how awesome of a person you are. And then also you would do things online on Wednesdays. Breathing exercises or whatnot.
Yes.
And so that's just, I mean, tell people about that. So how did that happen?
It's funny because literally when the shutdown happened, everything shut down. You know, a quarter of my income was like teaching at the college and at private students. But the other 3/4 was like live performances, sessions, singing, everything else. And so that was not happening at all. And it is literally just coming back. So, but the crazy part is, you know, as soon as the quarantine happened, like I kept seeing all these people doing free classes online, like chefs were giving free recipes and they were walking through it through Instagram and Facebook. And I was taking free exercise classes and I was, you know, free, the whole 8-week free songwriting class, like everything was free. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm benefiting so much from what everybody's offering me for free. So I was like, what can I do for free? And so I just did it one time. And I said, you know, you can see my first video. I'm like, I don't know if anybody's going to watch this, but here I am. And I mean, as soon as I turn it on, like hundreds of people logged on and they were watching. I said, oh, and then I posted it, you know, you can post it after you're done. And even more hundreds of people, I can show you how many people watched. I think my first video was like 400 or 500 people. Like it was a whole lot of people. And I said, oh. So then I said, okay, well, let me try it next week. And so more people showed up live and they're like, we love this. We're coming on next week. And my daughter's doing the exercise with you. And people started asking questions. So
you're going blurry again.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
It's okay. This is terrible. I'm sorry.
I know it happens to me a lot too. I was blurry like halfway through.
But yeah, so I kept turning it on and people kept, you know, showing up. People kept showing up and saying, you know, my daughter's doing the exercises with you, my whatever's doing, and you know, everybody's at home. So I had a very, very present audience. And so I just kept doing it. And I did it, I think, for a whole year. I think I signed on every Wednesday for a whole year. I was doing Momentations on Tuesdays. And then Wednesdays, I signed on to take people through just vocal exercise. And then some people would have questions. And then I do specific topics that I find with my vocal students that I went through. And it's so amazing. You know, that whole thing of generosity, like when you give out, you get back. And I didn't do it to get back. I was just giving because I had gotten so many free things literally within that first month, so many free things. And so, but from there, my vocal coaching business took off. Like it took off. And so it completely replaced the income I didn't have. And and it's still doing amazing. So
it is like, that's why I was like, I knew that was going to happen. I was like, watch.
It just blew up. I had to, my first time ever in life, my business, I was like, I have a waiting list. Like I can't do any more students. I can't do anymore. I was, you know, teaching the gospel choir. They gave me the gospel choir at my college. So I was teaching the choir online. I had private students and I had students at my college. So it was just like, too much. It was just too much. Right. And I had the group class with you. And I had the smaller group class with my 10 students who showed up every Monday. So it was just like, ooh, I was zoomed out.
I know. Like, I mean, I learned so much in that short period of time. Like I picked up this,
Yay!
Yeah. And so this is the sing
The
ring.
sing ring.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even know if I'm using it right. Like I'm just like,
You just close the holes. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I've been doing. I'm like, okay. And when I actually touch it, because I have not had time. Forgive me, y'all. Anyways.
Yeah.
But no, like the different one thing that definitely I remember from the class was the whys. You had said something about that, and then you had taught us about the fact that with the chorus, when you sing, you're blurry. You're so blurry.
Okay.
So you had taught us about, when you sing the chorus, that's your way of paying homage to the artist. And I was like, I never knew. I had an idea, but I never knew. And so like, you don't want to switch that up too much. You want to keep that the same. And then maybe like into the bridge, or maybe into one of into the verse, you want to make it your own, And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And then you were telling us about, I guess, the whys. Like your why should be, whatever your why is, it should be the main reason why you do it. It should be the reason that makes you love something, that you're passionate about it. Like it can't be like, for instance, oh, if you like to wear clothes and you want to be a singer. No. Now, if that's your fourth reason, that's fine.
Right.
But maybe if you want to help people and you want to, teach people something, or maybe for me, mine was, I've always been shy. And so like growing up, I would sing or whatnot, and that would help me. And it was like I was a different person or something. And so that helped me. And so that was a reason. And also meeting people and just like being around, like changing the world and just helping other people. Those are the reasons why. And then I like clothes as well.
No, I know. Me too. I like getting dressed up. That's one of my whys. I like
traveling and stuff like that.
Yes. Those whys are okay to put that on your why list.
Yeah.
But it can't be the only one. Same and
be the only one.
Pretty can't be the only one. No, because that will lose quickly. And I want to say, yes, I shout out to my vocal instructors at Pasadena City College. I got to take some colleges.
You're still blurry.
Classes. Dang. Hello. Am I here? Hello. Let me see if I do that. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Like it's still going in and out a little bit.
Man, I don't even know what to do with that. It looks clear on my end. But am I here? Can I talk?
Yeah, you're here, but it's just blurry a little bit. Sometimes I reload. I try reloading, and that works sometimes.
Can I do that?
It might. Okay, hold on. Let me see if it's. Yep. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sometimes when I reload it works. It just depends.
Okay. Let me know if I need to try the reload.
Try to reload.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She'll be right back. Oh, okay. So I'm kind of zoom in. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, okay.
Is that better?
There we go. Yep, that's a little bit better. Yeah. So you were saying that you learned from your teachers and your vocal coaches.
I took some, after I got my master's program, I went to get basically an associate's at Pasadena City College in music because I never got a degree in music. And so, but through that, I learned so much from the instructors and just other students. But one of the things that from jazz, they really were, especially when you're doing a jazz cover, really paying homage, seeing yourself as an interpreter of the music instead of like, I'm just singing this song. It's taking the whole automatic pilot that we can be on as singers to actually intentionally doing something and intentionally owning, like someone actually wrote these words, someone actually presented and interpreted these words and put it on wax. So now I'm also an interpreter of the original lyricist, the original arranger, the original musicians, and I'm joining what they've already done. And so, especially in the jazz genre, like I was told that, at least that first verse, you want to see yourself as an interpreter of that piece, and you pay homage to those people, whether it's Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, even the greats of, Lettucey or whoever's arranging and interpreting songs. You're joining that line of people. So you're becoming another interpreter, and you pay homage to those people by giving the basic melody that the lyricist and the person who wrote the melody, you do that. And so then once you get past that first first verse, first chorus, then once you get past that, then you can sort of have that freedom. But at least, especially when you do covers, like good old Stevie Wonder, good old, Patty, people want to hear how the song goes. So at least give them that. Give them the very beginning of the song. Then you can interpret and totally let go the farther you go into the song. But so I learned that. I never thought about that before taking those classes. And I was like, that makes no sense.
It definitely does. Because I thought about it a little bit, and I'm like, there has to be a reason why, with some people, they'll switch it up and others don't. And then some people will do it to where, okay, this doesn't even sound like the song.
Exactly. What song is this?
What is this? It's not like you just basically, I don't know. You just said, hey, blah, blah, blah. And but that really makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to ask you this question. I always ask this question. Your top female and male vocals of all time. Who would those be?
My top female of all time is Whitney Houston. It just is. It's Whitney Houston. I mean, close second or right along with her in the gospel genre. Yolanda Adams is my top. Yes. But Whitney Houston is my all-time, will forever be my favorite. Yes. And, not only, there's so many terrible negative things said about her now, but I still hold the queen. She, I used to watch the MTV Awards when I was like in junior high and elementary. And I remember when she walked out on the stage in the 90s, her heyday, and she would just command the audience. They would just be, they'd get silent, and she'd have them with, right? Just... She would just and you just go, so I'm so privileged that I grew up in the genre that actually got to see her live, and to be able to sing for her. But even before that, I got to see her on these shows and the magic that it is to see her in the first Black woman as Cinderella and her and Brandy, Cinderella and the Good Witch for Cinderella on ABC. I was around when that first came out, those things. So she's always magical to me. She will always be magical to me. Definitely. And the top male vocalist, that's a little bit harder. It's hard. It's hard. I listen to female voices so much because that's what I need to see, but or need to sing. My favorite male voice would probably be a gospel singer, of course. Mine, my top male are just worship leaders. Fred Hammond, Donnie McClurkin, some Ty Tribbett. Those are my favorite. And more so, in that genre, more so it's more than just the voice. It's, their connection with the audience, their connection with God, and how they balance all that to also have these amazing vocals. Exactly. So those would be my favorite male vocals, would probably be the gospel genre.
Yes. So I told you I was not going to keep you over because you got to get ready for that Lettucey concert. Yay!
Yay! Love the Hollywood Bowl. Anyone else going?
So thank you so much. And we can find you at Aretha Scruggs Music on IG.
Yes.
And ArethaScruggs.com.
Yes.
And also Aretha Scruggs YouTube and Aretha Scruggs Facebook. And then Momversations. Where can we find you at on Momversations?
So Momversations is Momversations on Instagram. Somebody already took my name, so I had to add it. I put mom_versations with two S's at the end. I know it's a whole lot. But Momversations on Instagram. And then all the conversations are on my whole YouTube page. And I'm changing the name. I need to make that one Rita Scruggs. But right now you can find it under Redefined Vocals, REE, Defined Vocals. And so all that you can find, it's all on one page. My videos for I'm Tired, the other EP that I did, I have Gingy singing in Portuguese, and a bunch of my live performances all over the world are on there. And then you'll find there's another button for Conversations, and you'll see all the past conversations are listed there with amazing directors, singers, background vocalists, parenting coaches. I have literally, it's Conversations is dedicated to musicians and singers and women in the entertainment industry, but also women in entrepreneurial fields. So I want to give voice to those women who try to find balance in both of those.
Definitely. And so everybody who's watching, who's a mother, I know a lot of y'all are entrepreneurs that watch. Please let me get your information so I can forward it to Aretha so you can be on the show.
Yay!
That'll be dope.
Yay!
Thank you so much. And also people with vocal, you want to sing and stuff and you want to sound good, the hollering and all that don't sound good. So you gotta get you some vocal lessons. It's all good. Look, I know I'll be over the place with some of my stuff. I'm honest. But that's the first step to acceptance is honesty, right? So it's all good, y'all. Get the vocal lessons.
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, lady.
You're welcome.
I'm so proud of you.
I will see you in December.
Hey,
I'm gonna be in Cali in December, so yeah.
Okay,
but y'all enjoy, be safe, and God bless. And thank you again. And because if it was not for you, literally, I probably you were one of the reasons I am doing this, literally, because you motivated me and inspired me. And so thank you so much. And so everybody tomorrow, please tune in for my special guest, 4-time Grammy nominee, Tony Award winner, Miss Melba
Moore. Yes.
7 p.m. y'all. Thank you so much. And y'all have a blessed evening. Stay safe and mask up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you
Tell
later.
Mom I said hi. Tell your mom I said hi.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.